with my support and all of my officers to put in place an online system. Now the online system is being manipulated so that people can make money. There's an investigation going on and some names have been mentioned. And there are people from outside, a cartel who are working with people from inside. Anybody who has been here for more than a year, from Monday, please do not come back because you've been changed. We want to bring some sanity.
Middlemen, popularly known as Goro boys, have infiltrated institutions including passport offices in recent times, causing artificial delays. These middlemen demand monies from individuals during processes leading to the acquisition of Ghana's passport. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has described the phenomenon as unacceptable. The sector minister, Shirley Ayoko Bochi, during an announced visit to the Rage and Kimbu offices here in Accra, expressed her displeasure at the act, alleging that staff collaborate with the Goro boys to extort huge sums of monies from applicants.
If we talk about Goro people, these Goro people are outsiders. They do not work on their own, because if the Goro person collects somebody's money, they need to work with somebody from inside to change the dates. They work with people from inside. I'm not saying all of you, but there are some of you who are engaged in it. And this should stop. The blame is always on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Meanwhile, it's the agencies, and I'm sure even some of our staff are involved. Public servants who are supposed to be giving public service to Ghanaians. The Vice President has led the digitalization effort with my support and all of my officers to put in place an online system. Now the online system is being manipulated so that people can make money off it.
According to her, the ministry has launched investigations into the matter and will deal with those found culpable.
There's an investigation going on and some names have been mentioned. And there are people from outside, a cartel who are working with people from inside. Anybody who has been here for more than a year, from Monday, please do not come back because you've been changed. We want to bring some sanity.
Some applicants expressed their frustrations over the delay in the acquisition of passports here in Ghana.
When I came here, just for a renewal, but what I'm saying is it's not good at all. As a grown-up person, we are all human beings. So when you are talking to a grown-up, you know how to talk to the grown-up. You can't tell the parent, you can't be asking you, have you gone to school before? Who's your parent? Will your parents have died? No, that's not. You are coming here for a renewal passport. So do the passport, they have to be appropriate, so have to do it.
The frustration is that you come, whatever you're supposed to come and do, vetting and take your picture and go home and go and wait for your passport. But here you are, you come, if this thing is supposed to be outside, if they give you 9:30, if you come 9:30, they will attend to you and you go home. But you come for only one passport, you spend over. People were talking this morning that they were here on Thursday, Friday for the same purpose.
The move by the Foreign Affairs Ministry is part of efforts to ensure that there is transparency in the process of acquiring passports and that there is no room for corruption. Middlemen, popularly known as Goro boys, have infiltrated institutions including passport offices.
I've said this before, and let me in conclusion stress again that it will not be under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that same-sex marriage will be legal. That same-sex marriage will be legalized in Ghana. It will never happen in my time as president. Let me repeat, it will never happen in my time as president.
Ladies and gentlemen, every seed that is stolen means a child being denied education, a farmer being denied a license, a driver not getting good roads, and the sick being left to die. I fear for Ghana. I am frightened about the future the NDC is building for the young people of our. It is a future of indebtedness, a future of hopelessness. It is a wretched future being incredibly, needlessly created by a reckless government. The prospect of another 4 years of this scares me, and so must it scare you too.
Yeah, thank you very much. You have specifically mentioned corruption within the taxation system. What exactly will you do to stamp this out?
The measures are going to be difficult, but there have to be a variety of them, including what I call the ANAS principle, setting up highly motivated professional groups of young people who will work, if you like, as it were, undercover to unearth examples of corruption wherever they can find it, and thereby allow the authority to deal with the issue. Because not only do you unearth the corruption, but you actually deal with it in terms of sending people to court, prosecuting them. Hopefully the courts will cooperate and make sure that the offenders are found guilty and sanctions appropriately enforced. So a variety of measures, but a key one is the ANAS principle, as well as, of course, what you do to securize those who are in the tax collecting agencies. We need it as a nation in these times. From the pulpit, do encourage hard work, understanding work as a vocation, and patriotism as a virtue. The Ghanaians must continue to embrace in this new year and beyond, so that Ghana will remain a shining star of Africa and a key player on the world stage. Let me respond briefly to the chairperson on the issue of illegal mining. I want to assure him and all of you that Akonta Mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana as we speak. Further, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has, through the agency of the Forestry Commission, with the assistance of the military, made the effort to cordon off all 294 sites of forest reserves in the country and rid them of illegal mining as we speak. We will continue to work to ensure that this situation remains permanent. This government is determined to win the fight against galamsey, no matter the cost in effort.
I think that the most effective way that we can have a debt portfolio for our country that is sustainable is to make sure that the NDC loses this election in December. Kicking out the NDC will be the surest way we can to protect the debt structure of our country. Why do I say that? In the 4 years in which they have been in power, they have more than tripled our national debt from 9 billion cedis, which was at the end of Kufuor's period, to 28 billion cedis today. In the 4 years of the NDC administration, they have contracted more debt than all the governments of our country, from Kwame Nkrumah right down to John Agyekum Kufuor. That is the nature of the situation confronting our country. And I dare say the President would agree with me that without the rebasing of the economy, the debt profile of our country today will be getting towards epic proportions. So we need, when we're talking about the debt profile of our country, to bear in mind two things. One, the areas into which the debt goes. And I agree with some of my previous speakers that the productive investment and the rate of return on them is a critical one. Equally critical is the value for money of the transactions that the debt brings about. We need to look at that. I've given some examples of public procurements that are taking place in our country on an extremely inflated rate. Once again, we need to look at this. You're talking about loans that are given, and inside the loans, the arrangements for determining value for money remain very opaque and unclear. How can you persuade the Ghanaian people that debts are being contracted in these circumstances that are there to push forward their future? We intend to be extremely disciplined about the contraction of debt. We're first of all going to respect the teachings of the national budget and treat it as precious. We will not be stepping outside the constraints of the budget. We are going to make sure that we reduce considerably areas of corruption in the construction and execution of some of these projects. These are the critical matters that our people are looking for leadership on. That we are not going to get ourselves in airline and other aircraft and other transactions that leave so many questions to be answered. The 28 billion is even without the latest Chinese.
Thank you so much.
I've heard it being said that I should be careful. Many of these people voted for me, and if I continue this exercise, perhaps they will not vote for me again. If by the grace of God I'm in a position, my party allows me to go again, and I have the health and everything to go again, that I'll not get it again. And I'll say to myself, well, this is a choice that all of us have to make as human beings. You do what you think is right, or do you do what you think will allow you to get along? I think that you do what you think is right. That is what you're required to do. Fortunately for me, in this fight, I have great allies. First of all, within my government. The people who are in the front line of that, all of them are here. The Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. The Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation. Eminent Ghanaians, responsible Ghanaians, who have gone out of their way to lead this crusade. But from the beginning, they said something which is the reason why you're here today. We cannot win this fight without the support of the traditional authorities of our country. Any serious social mobilization of Ghana, since time immemorial, if you're not involved, it doesn't happen. If you, the chiefs of our country, are not involved, it doesn't happen.
I have plenty money in my pocket, so I don't mind cocoa. Look, I'm now cutting it off. You see, it is my own bonafide property. Nobody can stop me to stop cutting my own cocoa tree. Are you planted for me? Planting for you, food and job. Am I involved?
Watch it, your mom. What do you want for Jina court? At the Omoko prison. And then they can say, your mom will be at that prison. Say, Galam Sainty. And so, you're watching China Niba. I know you're Galamsey Queen. I know the more for now, Uncle Jina Court, and for now, Cotum. Most on your Uncle Nicrum. And I'm going down the free or home. And so, you're mad yet, almost the Omoda, if you say. As you, you're bad. Almost your Galamsey, no. Omo true mumu. Yebema omo amnesty no more saba. Me ojidi say emabia omo from here omo enu omo ho enti yebe yi omo na yama omo another chance ebi say yebe ye hihie a ebe ma enyoma ayeye ye yi mu ye koye senia ye absese se woka party bi ho ana se wonye nipa bi ene galam say no ye mpene ma wonye wo de kotrans na komku na ye party for DC mo ene ho no omo de galam say no omo apene ma omo ye ezu na ne ya ne say obi excavator ya je na e dey come obi foforo na on the odi 2 gold na o dey out ho ente me se me ba excavators aya jeje free kofo yin na ya be jo ma de ne asa de ma o your University of Takwa, your friend University of Mines and Technology, UMAT. How much your school follow? Send your young mining, Nekwanso. Send a bear, Obian Pra, and answer Obian Hrenakwan. Enti Yaba, district via you don't be a Juma. Yeah, this school for University of Mines. Obi our concession be our ya don't become home. No much some choir, Modebaya mine and no son of bear, Obi Anshrin and Fanasa Obi Emperor. Na mutu sika koko ni wie mutu go ni wia on be kire mo say na mo be piapia anua no akatakata so fefefe na ye duadua ogu so say na be ya asase no ebe ye yie bi
the minister must be investigated of the excavator Asiwaha. He must be investigated. The president of the republic, I'm begging you because I'm a for Chagado. Obi ni bibia nebusia. Ne yire ne maami nebusia niya ne mba school fees. Nini ya excavator we mo. Ito si nipa no nya den na wadidi. Nipa no nya den. Ya papa Kufuado. U create aduma ni bi no. Now minister siri bi so say no. Yes. Yes. Again. Ya papa Kufuado. Again. Then director of operations, Honorable Lord Comey. From Paul Watson, any ministers live at the tip of the Sagunati, I'm on to me and Najuma. What it means, Sagunati, and the papa director of operations in the Dano Sekate. On to me, Yaduma. Look at this. Look at this. Kufuado Mamu Ponya Wabu Kufuado about Bonnie and Papa Suban. On the way, be a Kufuado person now. Obi excavator 6 years, my sister 15. So for the double too much. I'm a more funny. Meeting the president. Then I'm for one way. I be anyhow. One party machines. High tension, I said that.
The person me boa ankwa adwuma for na to bebre a ya je ye wudi ade ya no e ba betwemu nyina ma hyase etwetwemu ba ko ba. And I understand that, but nevertheless, I don't think that anywhere in the world that people go into teaching expecting to become millionaires and make money. If you want to do that, you do other things. If you want to do teaching, it's because you want to make a contribution to the welfare of the society and its growth, and you've done that very, very well. Petrol so also
It's a there's one brass of grad and then only KK once in the year.
Nana Akufo-Addo has made it very clear that his government is going to build a globally competitive economy. We have not really been thinking global, and this is what we need to do. That we have to understand that we are in competition with other countries, and investment moves from country to country, and we have to think global. And so, you know, the Nana Akufo-Addo policy, which he stated, is just basically to build the most people-friendly and the most business-friendly economy in Africa. This is the goal that we are going to try to do, the most people-friendly and the most business-friendly. The tax issue is a major issue, because if you are so, you know, fixated on revenue, you will essentially end up hurting your production. And so if you go back into history, you study the economic history of United States, Germany, England, all of them have used the tax, you know, policy to encourage production. And this is why we are saying that, I mean, today you have a situation in Ghana, unbelievable situation, when businesses are out on strike. Businesses who should be selling are out on strike. Why are they out on strike? Because they've been overburdened by taxes, you know. And if you don't take care, you'll be chasing the tax revenue and killing businesses. And when you kill businesses, it means you are causing unemployment. And so if you go back, this is why Nana Akufo-Addo is saying, you know, we need to mobilize financial resources. So why are you going to be imposing VAT on financial services? It doesn't make sense in a country which has got a very large unbanked population, and we want people to bank. We will abolish that, he says. We will abolish import duty on all raw materials, because that has been a policy that will help production. Let the businesses produce. Let them make profit. And when they make profit and employ people, we will get income taxes and we will get corporate taxes. So you don't go ahead to kill the business. No, let them bring in the raw materials. Let them produce. Then you will tax, you know, at the end of the day. And I think that you have a government where you have cutlasses being taxed, condoms being taxed, you know, and even savings. There was a 1% imposition on savings, which was later withdrawn. On investments, yes. On investments, which was later. I mean, even to think about it it's been suspended. It's been suspended. I mean, but even to think about it.
Oh, it's now abolished, is it?
Okay, good. Yeah, but even to think about it, it doesn't. It just questions who are making these policies. I mean,
but isn't it just another way?
Another way of raising revenue.
Well, yes,
but when you become desperate, this is what happens, that when you've mismanaged the economy into this hole, then anything sounds great to you because you don't have any option.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our job, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi, inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. As a Tuesday, the 2nd day of April 2024. And we're here. We're at another edition of the show. Our gratitude towards the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making around here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into a panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But of course, we have a few newspapers, but lots and lots and lots of news items. So let's check out the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic, Pump Optimism, Mac Easter. Import duty stall, Hill Konfanochi project. Parliament approves 6.87 billion cedis for NHIA, dialysis for needy, promoting health checks covered. There's cure for cleft lips children, surgeon. A new crusading guide. Baumia Jabs Mahama says a vote for Mahama is a vote for his retirement package. You may inherit fantastic wealth. Without discipline, you go bankrupt. Tekpe's take on economy. Chiefs of Ahafo in Kasem appeal to Newmont to support youth in community mining program. AG admonishes IGP to desist from impounding vehicles without valid insurance certificates. Kokobo denies iPad keyboard allegations. What have they denied? That they are yet to buy. Okay. Teshi youth chief fingered in illegal land grab at Islay gone. The insight. John Bwedu, he says front runners in MPP Aplanke race will be disappointed. Teshi youth chief accused of illegal land grab but insists on lawful acquisition. The blood of the baby that died due to Dumso is on the hands of Napo and Akufo-Addo, Osei Akoto. We stand with Cuba, damned to U.S. imperialism and blockade. Progressives and Cuban solidarity groups declare in Nigeria. Ukraine, Europe sleepwalks through its own dilemmas. And that's about it for the front pages. But of course, the biggest story in Ghana today has to do with what happened at Nungwa, about a 12-year-old girl, and of course, the priest, the chief priest. And that's the biggest story in Ghana, really, this morning. There's been a lot of statements. The office of the chief priest has spoken. They've granted an interview. You've had the Ministry of Chieftaincy speaking. The Ghana Police Service has issued a statement. Gadangbe has also issued a statement. We'll be back shortly.
It's good to stay strong together. It's good to share nutritious meals cooked with Fritol, a vitamin A fortified oil. Vital, you deserve a life of goodness. This advert is FDA approved.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Emma won someone shisho. And I epu ehron suye. Eye inke kaya kasa.
Oh, I still to be.
The Jamal washing powder for furniture sachets akesi enum aba. Eye inke kaya kasa.
For Jamal washing powder, bottle 30. Can you ma ode beji aware?
New Jamal washing powder. Emanya meniti. Nemusu ye sham. Ohukafo a oma wontade niti. FDA aje edwede nkrato yatumu.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
Prepare your bantama.
Matisse.
Cycle.
It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Judy said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasa. Kile hosen. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
And you will see so feeling when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
We are back bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the partial daily jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
To help meet your business and private printing needs successfully, we have just the right products and services. At Appointed Time Printing Limited, we specialize in digital printing, offset printing, packaging, and security printing. Our innovative designs and complete professional touch on our print products such as posters, flyers, brochures, magazines, poll cards, and any other print solution of your choice ensure that our customers are always happily connected to their audience. With our security printing section, our clients are assured of a highly secured and confidential work process from start to finish. At Appointed Time, our prices are very, very competitive. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is the solution.
Welcome to Rehoboth Westcott Oyarifa, your gateway to a comfortable life. Located between Legon and the tranquil hills of Pediasi, a place where the convenience of city life meets the peaceful embrace of nature. Here, safety, peace, credibility are assured, free from the worries of land guards and multiple patches of the same land. Oyarifa's strategic location offers you easy access everywhere. Build at your own pace and within your budget. Rehoboth Westcott fast-selling lands, serenity, connectivity, community. Own a piece of land today. Call 0553 751 933 or 0206 823 524 or visit our website at www.rehobothsocialhousing.com.
I have the Honorable Deputy Minister of Sanitation of Parliament for Sisala East. That's the Honorable Amidu Chinia Isahaku. Honorable, good morning.
Good morning.
I got the names right here.
Yes.
Okay. Also with me on the show this morning is the Director Legal Affairs of the NDC, who's also the Executive Director of FT.
Oh, Randy. My board chairman. My board chairman.
Eduji Tamaklo.
My board chairman, Randy. Good morning, Honorable, yes. And good morning to our cherished viewers. Yeah.
You know, when I was told that you were on the show, I was like, did the Honorable go for Easter?
Oh, I went.
Oh, okay.
I was in the constituency for like a week and 4 days. I came back the day before yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I left my constituency the day before yesterday and joined the flight.
Well, it's crazy. How do you guys manage it? Especially those of you whose constituencies are quite a distance from Accra. How are you able to do it?
In fact, my constituency is the capital, is the furthest from Accra in the whole of the country.
Oh.
Tumu is the furthest capital from Accra.
So you fly to Wa?
Yeah.
And then from Wa to your places, how many hours?
About, you take 2 hours.
Okay.
Depend on your car. Sometimes you can take more than, because our route is not very good.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. But the Wa flights are not that regular.
They are not regular. Right? They are not regular, but it's better. I mean, it's a big improvement because you have flights out of the 7 days in the week, 5 days.
5 days?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That must be...
It's only Saturday.
That must be this airline.
Passion, yes. And they're doing an excellent job.
You know, Passion is you see, the least served or unserved places is where Passion really, you know, and I'm thinking that, look, for airlines like that, we need to find a way of supporting them, because I know a bit about that industry and I know that it's crazy. They are reeling under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I perfectly agree with you, because why it's not, I mean, many of the indigens don't use flights.
Yeah, it's not a financially lucrative route.
Lucrative place, yes. Sunyani, I mean, they used to do Ho, then Tamale. They're doing an excellent job.
Yeah. All right, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, Randy, on this Passion Airline issue, I think it's something that we should consider. I strongly believe that beyond the financials, the decision to actually go to, say, Wa and those other places itself is a corporate decision that must not be seen to be a punishment. So that sometimes what you do is that you deliberately give more incentive to such companies so that others will come there. And once they come there, it improves competition for the welfare of the final consumer. So I strongly believe that the Ministry of Transport, Ghana Airports, they know some of the incentives. Maybe if it's even about taxing of the aeroplanes.
Look, sometimes for some
costs
sometimes for some of the rules, it will make sense to even reconsider the taxes that we put.
That's the point I'm making
on some of those tickets, so that it's a bit affordable for
improves,
them.
Even
the airlines themselves.
Yes.
Some of the charges that
and their margins.
Yeah, some of the charges for using the airports and all those things. These are things that we ought to really take a second look at. You know, to make it a bit more competitive. When you speak with players in that industry, it's a miracle that some of them are still, you know, going around this business. Anyway, but if you're looking for a toothpaste that will take care of all the family and save money, well, at least if you cannot afford to buy an air ticket, you should be able to afford a good toothpaste. Okay, so the recommended family toothpaste is Kel 360 toothpaste and is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. Kel 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, And with its cool mint, gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste, another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 024-6864-798. KEL 360 toothpaste, happy smile. And the pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumono, or just call them on 0200535515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. And Estate Masters Limited is giving a 10% discount on all their lands. These lands are located at Ningo Pram, close to the Central University in Tripoli, close to the Saglemi Affordable Housing project. And the prices range from 12,500 cedis to 25,000 cedis. So you can contact Estate Masters Limited on 00304-447 or 0593-803-180. Or you can also find them on social media at Estate Masters GH or www.estatemastersgh.com. All right. So we get on with this something here. Now, Eduji, you are the lawyer here.
Yes.
Oh, no, but you're not a lawyer, right?
No, okay. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay, so you're like me.
I have some legal background. He was my mate at we program together.
Yes.
Okay.
The
masters in
LLM. Okay. But I've done LLB.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you have
except I haven't gone to Makola.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. There are many like you. Anyway, so I've just seen this interesting letter from the Attorney General to the Inspector General of Police.
Okay.
It might sound something innocuous, but some people feel harassed, and they feel that it's an issue that is probably, I don't know how to put it, but I think that there's some level of high-handedness, you know. But impounding of or prohibition of the use of motor vehicles for minor violations of road traffic regulations. And the Attorney General writes, I wish your good self and the Ghana Police Service a happy new year. Okay. So this letter was actually dated the 9th of February. So it's over a month old. And it says that the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice has received incessant complaints from members of the public, including lawyers and senior public officials, about the tendency of officers of the Ghana Police Service to impound or prohibit the use of motor vehicles deemed to have violated provisions of the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180. The provisions of LI 2180, under which police officers regularly exercise the discretion to impound vehicles, relate to alleged violations of the rules of road contained in Regulation 6 and other provisions pertaining to crossing the red light or driving a vehicle without a valid insurance certificate. A reason often advanced by police officers for impounding a vehicle is the necessity to, quote, use the vehicle as an exhibit in court proceedings. Whilst noting the mandate of personnel of the Ghana Police Service, we observe that relevant provisions of Regulations 158 of LI 2180, which govern the power to inspect, impound, and prohibit the use of motor vehicles, stipulate as follows. An examiner, an authorized vehicle inspector appointed by the licensing authority or police officer may inspect a motor vehicle or a trailer to ascertain whether the provisions of the act or regulation made or permit issued under the act are being complied with. In the event of non-compliance, an examiner authorized by the licensing authority or police officer not below the rank of inspector may, by order in writing, prohibit the further use of the motor vehicle or the trailer until the provision has been complied with. And then it goes on with the 5 and then the 7. The 7 says a person who contravenes this regulation commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not less than 25 penalty units and not more than 50 penalty units, or to a term of imprisonment of not more than 3 months, or to both. Says a careful examination of LI 2180 disclosed that the violations for which police officers regularly impound vehicles, including Regulation 106, Rules of the Road, and other provisions relating to ignoring red light and driving without a valid insurance, are misdemeanors. This is easily discernible from the prescribed punishment of a maximum of 50 penalty units or a term of imprisonment of no more than 3 months, or to both. By virtue of Section 1 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, a misdemeanor is construed in accordance with Section 296 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act 30, Section 2964 of Act 30 stipulates where a criminal offence which is not an offence mentioned in subsection 5 is declared by an enactment to be a misdemeanor, and a punishment for that offence is not specified, a person convicted of that offence is liable to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 3 years. It is thus beyond doubt that the violations, the subject matter of this letter, are misdemeanors. An application of the road traffic regulations, particularly Regulation 158, requires fairness, candour, and reasonableness. The impounding of a vehicle is not necessary for proof of a violation of any of the rules contained in Regulation 158, or indeed most of the provisions in LI 2180. Thus, a position that a vehicle is required to be used as an exhibit in court is untenable and unreasonable. As Attorney General and the principal legal advisor to the government, I advise that police officers should desist from impounding or prohibition of the use of a motor vehicle for minor offences, such as an alleged violation of any of the rules of the road contained in Regulation 106 and other provisions pertaining to crossing the red light or driving a vehicle without a valid insurance certificate, etc. An unreasonable exercise of discretion or a failure to adhere to the advice herein has the tendency to result in unnecessary suits against the government, occasioning needless expense and potentially avoidable judgment debts. The Office of the Attorney General is already inundated with many suits arising from wrongful exercise of discretion and negligence by police officers. Further, ought to be noted that responsibility for maintaining the condition of an impounded vehicle shifts from the owner of the vehicle to the state. Impounded vehicles are exposed to the risk of deterioration and theft of essential parts. Accept the assurances of my highest esteem, Godfrey Debo Adami, Attorney General, Minister of Justice. Adeji, are you one of the lawyers who have complained to the AG?
Oh, no. My complaints have not gotten to the Office of the Attorney General on this first matter. I think I essentially agree with the Attorney General on this matter. And I would rather plead with the officers of the Ghana Police to exercise a lot of great judgment when
you are under arrest. Let's go to the station.
That kind of situation. Yes. And oftentimes the danger is that when you are arrested, there's always the request also to take your driver's license.
Yes. Then they sit in the car. Let's go to the station.
That process, a lot of negotiations can happen within where you are arrested and to the nearest police station. You can negotiate your way out if the possibility exists. I strongly believe that whatever it is, the Ghana police and officers, most of whom we interact with in our daily activities, should consider this advice. And
this is clearly a 1960 legislation. I don't know if it's gone through some amendments yet. But obviously, how do you use a vehicle as exhibit in a case involving jumping a red light?
And oftentimes, the proper exhibit in such an offense will be whether or not you cross the red light.
Yes.
It is not the physical possession of the car.
Or not having your license on you.
And thankfully,
or not having a driver's license. Or using an expired license.
Yes. Thankfully for the Accra roads, because of the video, the intelligent traffic system, the videos are able to capture you when you cross. So I strongly believe that the tendering of that video recording should be enough evidence for the purposes of establishing whether or not I crossed the red light, and if so, whether it was deliberately done. I believe that that can be done without impounding the cars. And so I will plead with the great officers of the Ghana Police Service to consider this advice greatly. And like it is stated in the advice, the danger is that when you impound these cars and it goes out there for long and there are deterioration in the value of the car, is the state in readiness, as it were, to compensate these individuals for the loss either in value or whatever? That becomes another challenge on the Republic. So I think this is something that IGP Dampare, his officers, the great officers of the Ghana Police, can make things work better. And I think it's doable instead of impounding those vehicles. And you notice that on the issue of it being a misdemeanor, even though there are some, the judges are at liberty, even with misdemeanor, to do sometimes custodian sentence, often is a fine. So if it will result in a fine, why would you, for the purposes of anything, say, I'm impounding the car? I think these are all things that have been introduced into the justice, or let me say, the criminal process by the police to make it a bit more difficult for the purpose of the negotiation. If the outcome is so easy to reach, the negotiation becomes problematic. So I strongly believe that this is something that should be carried through.
Well, Randy, let me say good morning to my friend, lawyer, and to my constituents and all those listening to this morning. I also want to add my voice to what lawyer has just said in agreeing with the Attorney General that this advice to the police is timely and necessary. I have had the experience of being arrested or stopped by police officers because they allege I had crossed the red light. And we too, when he stopped us, I was in front. The person that was behind me had cause to challenge that, I mean, he had not crossed the red light. And the police officer requested that we should go to the police station. And I told him that you can take the vehicle number. You can take my particulars if you want, and then once you say you have video evidence of we crossing, that is what you need as exhibits to take us to court if you so wish. But to say that we have to drive to the police station without considering what errand we are running and the cost of the errand, if you waste my time in the case of a misdemeanor, I mean, what will be the consequence if I have to sue you for having wasted my time for a crime that is not grievous? But he insisted, and I willingly agreed. But the person that was with me, I mean, resisted. They had a lot of confrontation to the extent that when we go to the police station, I had to start talking to the other person that should exercise patience and let's listen to them. And suddenly, another police officer who noticed me and knew me as an MP and a deputy minister, I said, Honorable, what are you doing here? And because I didn't disclose who I was to the person. And the police who arrested us began to say that, oh, I conducted myself well and so I should go. But the other person misbehaved and so he will have to. And I had to intervene. I have to let him know that some of these things, I mean, you cannot use vehicle as evidence like lawyer said. I mean, what kind of evidence is it going to serve in the law court if you are going to keep my vehicle at the police station? And so I believe that somehow the police officers are abusing with the citizens rely on some of these laws, which is not fair. And I perfectly agree with the AG that the Inspector General and the police service should take a second look at it, because if citizens are minded to actually take on the police service after some of these alleged crimes and being disturbed and your vehicle being kept for days and all that, and probably the activity you are going to carry out and the fact that you've been arrested and probably the time wasted and the effect on what you are going to do, probably the state will pay more for whatever crime that you might have committed, and that is not good enough. And so I will add my voice to lawyer in urging the IGP and the police service to adhere to this advice by the AG.
The police, they are friends, so we live in the same community and others with them. Some of these things create needless enmity between us and the police. And I strongly believe that is completely avoidable. If the purpose of the arrest, the preparation of your docket or whatever to go to court for a breach of that traffic offense, I strongly believe that the evidence that is required in court is not the vehicle. In fact, no judge will come out and say, I want to inspect. But thankfully today, the police have the benefit of cameras almost at all our traffic intersections. And it's easier to extract this, what do you call it, video for the purposes of tendering it in evidence. That can be done without the impounded car, which is so easier for us if for the purposes of proving that a wrong has been done. So I think this is something that we should all support and get it done.
All right, so I'm sure that for both of you in your LLB class, one of the things that you read about had to do with the hierarchy of laws and the fact that there are laws that are recognized by the Constitution, and that includes customary law, but that's why I also refer to hierarchy of laws.
Yes.
And I'm sure that in this conversation, that issue is going to come up again, because there clearly will be a conflict of customary law and other laws. Now, the Gbobu Wulomo Shrine in Nungwa is defending itself against calls for the arrest of a 63-year-old priest over the marriage to a minor. The controversy erupted following the marriage ceremony held on March 20, sparking widespread outrage and demands for the traditional priest, Numo Bokete Lawechuru. Is that 33rd? Okay, his prosecution. According to the Gbobu Wulomo Temple, Na Yomo Ayemwade has been designated to attend to one of the 99 deities of the Gadangbe group, which necessitates her being a virgin. This requirement led to the decision to publicly conduct the marriage ceremony to ensure her purity was maintained and to safeguard her from sexual violation by men. A spokesperson for the temple, Nibote Kofi Frankwa II, explained that the selection of the 12-year-old Nayomo Ayemwade by Gbobu Wulomo is a spiritual practice that began 6 years ago. She is expected to fulfill a role within the shrine that is traditionally reserved only for virgins. According to the spokesperson, the critics who have cried foul over the development do not appreciate the tenets of the Gadangwe tradition. Quote, when somebody makes such a call, it comes from a point of ignorance, because first, you need to come closer and ask so that you appreciate what it is, but not take hook, line, and sinker what is being said. He said at a press conference, it's because it goes beyond what is being preached out there. It is deeper than what is being preached. It's deeper for our spirituality. He told Accra-based GH1. Meanwhile, the chief of Sempe and Mankralo of the Ghana State, near Adote Otinto II, condemned the marriage by the priest. Speaking to Joy News, the traditional leader called on the youth of the area to resist this development, as it would dent the reputation of the townsfolk. The chieftaincy ministry also says it's probing the circumstances. Now, Gadangbe has issued a statement signed by its president, the Honorable Ayikwe Otu, a former Attorney General of this republic. Now, it says that the recent report of the Gbobu Wulomo being married to a girl under the legal age of marriage has raised concerns and sparked controversy. The Gadangbe Council viewed the phenomenon as a complex issue that requires careful consideration and action, and for which reason the Council refrained from expressing opinion when the story broke, preferring to do more research and consultations on the matter, considering that the Gbobu Wulomo himself is not an illiterate. At first blush, the council, like all other well-meaning Ghanaians and social commentators, deprecated and denounced the ceremony christened a Ghana customary wedding, Boy Ekpayo. Additionally, it is not difficult to infer that a significant age difference between the two parties may create an imbalance of power, leading to potential abuse and exploitation. It is essential to acknowledge the legal and ethical implications of marrying a girl who's underage, because in this country there are strict laws in place to protect minors from exploitation and abuse. By marrying a girl who is not of legal age, the traditional ruler is potentially violating these laws and putting the girl at risk of harm. Many have cited the Constitution 1992, the Criminal Offences Act, and the Children's Act, all dealing with consent to have sex, to be married, defilement of female, and void marriages, which are legitimate concerns, with some even calling for the police and other state actors to set in. In addition to legal and ethical concerns, there are also societal implications to consider. The traditional rulers' actions have reflected poorly on the Nungwa traditional area, as well as the Gadangbe community in general, giving detractors the opportunity to denigrate and make us objects of derision. The other concerns being whether, since the ceremony is part of the traditions of Nungwa, it should be respected and isolated or given immunity from state laws. That also the council finds problematic. Further probing has, however, revealed that instead of a traditional betrothal, the MCs who are known during such occasions to exaggerate issues in order to create laughter and liven up the occasion misled everybody present, as well as the entire community, to believe that what was happening was a traditional wedding. The council has engaged the Gbobu Uloma himself and some of his elders, and it's important to clarify that the traditional ruler has stated that the relationship with an underage girl is a betrothal and not a marriage. This distinction to us has altered the legal implications. We are inclined to side with the Gbobu Uloma, since the original reportage made the point that there was another ceremony that awaited a girl to purify and prepare her for procreation. We consider that whilst betrothal could involve an underage person, it does not grant license to the person to start having sexual relationship with such a child, thereby jeopardizing their education and even endangering a difficult childbirth, since their organs are not properly developed. The Gadangbe Council calls on the Gbobu Uloma to address the issue and mitigate the concerns surrounding the betrothal, and to ensure that a girl's well-being and rights are protected, and that her best interests, such as her education, are prioritized throughout the engagement process. She should continue education until she reaches the legal age of marriage, and even marriage should not disrupt her education if she is still willing to continue. The Gadangbe Council also calls on the parents of the child to keep an eye on her and let her understand that, notwithstanding the betrothal demanded by custom, she is still an infant and entitled to enjoy life and engage in youthful pranks like all others of her age. We hope that this statement will assuage injured feelings and let this matter pass. Okay, I doubt if it will. But from the chieftaincy ministry, it also says that it's taking into serious consideration the recent marriage between a 63-year-old traditional priest in Nungwa, Gbobu Uloma Numo Bokete, Lawe, XXIII is 33, right? Okay. And a 12-year-old girl. The sector minister, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, has pledged to investigate the matter in order for his outfit to understand the issue and take necessary measures, since the bride, Naya Mwade, is a minor. Quote, I'm still doing a lot more checks through the traditional authority and the police command on the ground, because we're talking about a minor here. We're also trying to reach the family of the 12-year-old. It is not clear what is happening there, and I want to get to the bottom of it. Now, finally, the Ghana Police Service. The Ghana Police Service has identified and located a 12-year-old girl who is alleged to have been married to a 63-year-old Gbobu Uloma in Nungwa, Accra. The girl and her mother are currently under police protection. The Ghana Police Service is working with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection and the Department of Social Welfare to provide her with the necessary support while the matter is being investigated. Is this a practice that you are used to in your area?
Well, I think betrothal marriage is common across Ghana.
Yes.
It's common across Ghana. But what I want to say is that, Randy, our culture, our tradition is very important, because that is what identifies us. Of course, with time, certain aspects of our culture, our traditions, are seen as outmoded and not in tandem with our laws as we have in our constitution and other relevant laws. Betrothal marriage, for me, I personally consider it as one of the outmoded practices that, especially that we all respect human rights. I mean, you should respect one's rights. And a girl below 12 years and below, 12 years is not matured enough to make a judgment as to who should be her husband. And that one alone for me makes it wrong for whether in this particular marriage there is going to be sexual intercourse or not. I don't think it is right, because the girl at the age of 12 cannot make the right judgment. And it is her right to mature and make a judgment for herself as to who she wants to marry. And like you stated earlier, we have a hierarchy of laws, and nobody can, under the pretext of customary laws, undermine the Constitution of Ghana, because it is the supreme law. And the supreme law of Ghana is very clear that no woman can marry below 18. Yeah. 18 years. If you are 18 years and below, you cannot get married.
So they said this is not marriage; it's the process leading to marriage. So the process can start even 6 years before you reach the age.
Randy, it cannot be the case. It cannot be the case. Once you start the process, we are men, and the temptation of adding other things is very possible. And like I said earlier, as long as a girl is not mature to make an independent decision as to who she wants to marry alone, under our human rights law, makes the action wrong.
You said she's been called by the gods. It's the gods who have chosen her.
And I have said that I am a believer of the maintenance of our culture and tradition. Mm-hmm. For instance, our languages, we have to maintain our languages, the languages we speak, because that one identifies, I'm a Sisalaman. Yes. If I can't speak Sisale, then what makes me a Sisalaman? Mm-hmm. Our local names, I'm Chinya. When those who understand Sisale, when they see the name, there are certain names when you see, you know that this is a Sisalaman. Mm-hmm. There are certain names you see, you know this is a Garman, this is a Dagomba man. Those are positive aspects of our tradition that we have to maintain. But for the negative ones, which are in contravention of our laws, must be done away with. And this is clearly one of such laws, traditions that we have to do away with. If you have your daughter, will you determine the husband of your daughter even when she's 18 years plus? No. You can give pieces of advice to your daughter or any female relation as to the kind of man she should marry, but you cannot make a definite decision as to who the lady should marry.
But if we say that betrothal is something which is widespread in Ghana and is steeped in our culture and our tradition, and it is a practice that is ongoing till today, what makes this one different?
Well, I say...
Is it because it happened in Accra?
No. If it happens in my constituency, I will not support it.
Really?
Yes, I won't support it.
Is it to suggest that there's no longer betrothal in your...
It should be one of the negative cultural practices that we have to do away with. We have to allow girls to grow, mature, and make their independent decision as to who they want to marry. When they go into the marriage and they are suffering, they know it's their own decision. They have that right. You cannot impose on a young lady the husband even before she becomes matured. That is absolutely wrong and against our laws. And so, like I said earlier, there are certain aspects of our culture that we all agree that they are outmoded, they are unacceptable, they are against our existing laws and cannot be practiced. And this is one of them. It used to happen many years ago, but we cannot continue as long as we have the current arrangement of laws. My area, the Sisala area and Upper West for that matter, those things used to happen. But these days, no no parent will allow the daughter.
Maybe they're happening on the quiet.
Well,
because people know that if, for example, this one, if he wasn't accompanied by that fanfare, we probably would not have known.
That I agree with you. There are a lot of wrong things that happen at our blind side. But once it happens at our blind side and we don't see or don't hear, I mean, we can't say sometimes. But once we get to know or we get to hear, we must condemn it.
There's something quite interesting with this one. It appears that the parents of this young girl are on all fours with the practice. They were there. They were happy to have that happen. People in the community, adults and whoever, were there. They were excited. They were happy. They believed that their tradition and their customary practice was being, exhibited.
Randy, sometimes it happens that parents accept certain decisions not because they like it, but certain circumstances can push them to accept it, even though they may disagree internally. I mean, there are instances where a lady goes to marry a man that the parents may disagree, but because of financial influence, they accept it. But in actual fact, it's against their will. So it is possible that the parents have also been coerced, or they don't appreciate the laws, or they have been influenced by other means. Otherwise, anybody who appreciates our current legislations that we available on these matters will not accept such a practice. I mean, you should be happy to allow your child to grow and to make an independent decision. That is very important. You can guide. You can try to advise. But to the extent of taking the decision for the girl when she's not matured enough, she doesn't know the implications of what she's going into. Nobody can convince me that this girl at 12 years actually appreciates what she's getting herself into. And nobody can convince me. As far as I am concerned, the girl is immature. She doesn't know what she has been pushed into, and probably she may live to regret it. And the damage that would have been caused to her will be irreversible. And that is not fair. I think that the Gadangwe tradition, I have been listening to the statement you just read. I mean, they try to condemn it. On the other hand, they try to defend it. I mean, it appears they are caught in between, and they disagree at one point, and another point they are introducing. And Ayiko Oto, who is a seasoned lawyer, who knows that the Constitution of Ghana is supreme over any other law, and knows that the Constitution actually says that.
But the point he makes, the Honorable Ayiko Oto, the point he makes is that to the extent that is a betrothal and not a marriage, all those laws that people are citing don't kick in. It says that once they had a clarification that is a betrothal and not a marriage, and that it was the MCs at the occasion who, in spicing up the thing, then created the impression that it was a marriage. That is what has led to the controversy.
I think that maybe on that note, my very respected senior lawyer, Ayuko Oto, a man I have enormous respect for. I think if he had adverted his mind to section 14(2) of the Children's Act.
What does that say?
And so I just want to read that portion. And it addresses the specific issue.
Right.
The right to refuse betrothal and marriage.
Okay. So tell us what it says.
Quote, a person shall not force a child, A, to be betrothed, betrothed, B, to be the subject of a dowry transaction, or C, to be married. The minimum age of marriage, whatever kind, is 18 years. Then it proceeds, 15. A person who contravenes the provisions of sections 12 to 14 commits an offense. Upon summary conviction, to a fine not exceeding 250 penalty units, or imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, or to both the fine and imprisonment. So I strongly believe that if my learned senior had adverted his mind to this express...
Let me ask a layman's question. Okay. So what you read about betrothal, it speaks about a minor being forced. Must you therefore not establish the fact that she was forced? No.
Here, the essential ingredient of the offense here is the fact that the general provision is that a person below the age 18 at common law could not engage in any transaction.
Yes.
There are only exceptions. That is, if the person is engaged in what we call contract of necessaries. Obviously, a marriage cannot be considered to be a contract of necessaries. Now, we have moved beyond the common law to a point where we have made it that you do not have the mental capacity either to appreciate consequences or make an informed decision. And so at the age of minority, you are not permitted to do anything. But even at common law, the understanding is that if it's a contract for